and welcome to Daily Prelims Practice. Here we take up MCQs based on the Hindu and the Indian Express newspaper. Topics for today's discussion are displayed on your screen. Let's begin the discussion.
The first question we are taking is based on the news article appearing on page number 1 of the Hindu. Insurance regulator IRDAI is devising multi-pronged changes to expand citizen safety net. For example, Bima Vistar, Bima Sugam, and women-led campaigns. The aim is to expand India's poor insurance penetration. Questions related to government sector-specific initiatives has been area of interest for UPSC Prelims. For example, in 2021, question appeared on urban cooperative banks in India. Similarly, on this topic, we have curated a practice MCQ. The question says, consider the following with reference to the reforms in insurance sector. The first statement says the government nationalized the life and non-life sectors in the year 1956. The statement is incorrect as in the year 1956, nationalization of the life sectors took place through the LIC Act and the nationalization of non-life sectors took place in the year 1972 through the GIC Act. The second statement says Government of India has set the limit for foreign direct investment in the insurance sector to 49%. The statement is incorrect as Parliament had passed the Insurance Amendment Bill 2021 to increase FDI limit in the insurance sector to 74% from 49%. The third statement reads, the Ministry of Finance has introduced guidelines for a standard product called Saral Jeevan Bima to simplify insurance policies. The statement is incorrect as this initiative is introduced by Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India and it aims to bring inclusivity as this product guidelines mention the insurers should offer the product without restrictions on gender, place of residence, travel, occupation or educational qualifications. Here you had to identify the incorrect statements. All the statements are incorrect, hence option D becomes our correct answer. Answer for this PYQ is option B. The second question of today's session is based on the news article which appeared on page number 3 of Hindu. The office of Speaker is again in news. The Supreme Court in a judgment has directed the Speaker to adjudicate on the disqualification issue within a time frame. However, the time frame has not been given in the Constitution and at present the time frame depends on case-to-case basis. UPSC in the past has asked questions related to presiding officers of legislatures both at central and state level. For example, in 2018, question appeared on Speaker of the Legislative Assembly and various provisions. Similarly, we have curated a practice MCQ. The question says, with reference to the 10th schedule of the Constitution, consider the following statements. The first statement says, a nominated member of a house shall be disqualified for being a member of the house if he joins any political party after the expiry of 6 months. The statement is correct as in the 10th schedule of the Constitution, certain grounds are provided on the basis of which a person shall be disqualified from being a member of Parliament. A member incurs disqualification under the defection law. It is given here if any nominated member joins any political party after the expiry of 6 months, he or she shall be disqualified on the grounds of defection. The second statement says the question of disqualification is decided by President in case of Lok Sabha. The statement is incorrect as the question of disqualification under the 10th schedule is decided by the chairman in the case of Rajya Sabha and Speaker and not President in the case of Lok Sabha. In 1992, the Supreme Court ruled that the decision of the Speaker or Chairman in this regard is subject to judicial review. Here you had to identify the correct statements from the discussion. Option A becomes our correct answer. Answer for this previous year question is option A. The third question of today's session is based on the article which appeared on page number 13 of the Hindu. The center is estimating a record production of paddy, wheat and sugarcane, etc. according to the estimates given by Union Agricultural Ministry. In economy, question related to crop production, related developments and issues become important for UPSC Prelims examination. For example, in 2015, question appeared on fair and remunerative price of sugarcane. On similar lines, we have curated a practice MCQ. The question says, with reference to sugar production and trade in India, consider the following statement. The first statement says, Tamil Nadu has emerged as highest sugar producing state in recent years. The statement is incorrect, as sugar production in Maharashtra, the country's leading producing state of the sweetener, rose to 73.8 lakh tons during the ongoing marketing year from 72.9 lakh tons in the year ago. Also, next to Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh is the second largest producing state. Coming to the second statement, yield levels of sugarcane are higher in southern states than in northern India. The statement is correct. In southern states, the yield level of sugarcane is high. Its yield is low in northern India. The third statement says the value of sugar exports from India has seen a continuous increase in the last 5 years. The statement is incorrect. As the chart here shows, the value of sugar exports from India in US dollars and rupees increased year on year except in the year 2021-22 period. Here you had to identify the incorrect statements from the discussion above. Option C becomes our correct answer. Answer for this previous year question is option A. The next question we are taking from Hindu is based on article which appeared on page number 4. After the recent election results in Karnataka, the new government is having talks on the expansion of cabinet. Questions related to legislatures, constitutional positions and offices are important from the examination perspective. As in 2017, question appeared on the underlying principle of the cabinet form of government. Here, we have curated a practice MCQ on similar lines. The first statement says, similar to the British Convention, the Indian Constitution has mentioned for the system of legal responsibility of a minister. The statement is incorrect. Article 74 of the Indian Constitution gives provisions for the Council of Ministers to aid and advise the President, and the President in exercise of his functions acts in accordance with such advice. If we go through the constitutional provisions, we see our constitution differs from that of the Britain in certain matters. For example, in Britain, every order of the king for any public act is countersigned by a minister. This means if the order is in violation of any law, the minister would be held responsible and would be liable in the court. However, in India, on the other hand, there is no such provision for the system of legal responsibility of a minister. Moreover, the courts are barred from inquiring into the nature of advice rendered by the ministers to the president. The second statement says the total number of ministers, including the Prime Minister in the Council of Ministers, shall not exceed 15% of the total strength of Lok Sabha. The statement is correct. The provision was added by the 91st Amendment Act of 2003. It states that total number of ministers, including the Prime Minister in the Council of Ministers, shall not exceed 15% of the total strength of Lok Sabha. Here you had to identify the correct statements from the discussion. Option B becomes our correct answer. Answer for this previous year question is option C. The fifth question of today's session is based on Indian Express article which appeared on page number 13. Indian Space Research Organization is collaborating with Raman Research Institute to build X-ray polarimeter satellites scheduled to be launched later in 2023. Space research developments are being frequently asked in the UPSC examinations. For example, in 2016, question appeared on AstroSat, the astronomical observatory launched by India. On similar lines, we have curated a practice MCQ. The question says, consider the following statements with reference to the X-ray polarimeter satellite XPO-SAT. The first statement says XPO-SAT is the world's first satellite mission dedicated to measure the polarization of X-rays from different cosmic sources. The statement is incorrect, as it is India's first dedicated polarimeter mission and world's second to measure the polarization of X-rays. The first such mission is NASA's Imaging X-ray Polarimeter Explorer mission. The second statement is the spacecraft will carry 2 scientific payloads in the geostationary Earth orbit. The statement is incorrect. as it will carry X-ray polarimeter and X-ray spectroscopy and timing in a low Earth orbit. The third statement given here is correct, as the mission will enhance the understanding of emission processes that originates from complex physical processes from various astronomical sources such as black hole, neutron stars, etc. Here you had to identify the correct statements from the discussion we had. Option C becomes our correct answer. Answer for this previous year question is option D. The last question of today's session is based on the article which appeared on page number 15. India is under pressure to modify the definition of employment to an international benchmark. International Labour Organization has urged India to follow the standards laid down by 19th International Conference of Labour Statisticians held in 2013. Employment and related developments are important part of the economy section, as in 2013 question appeared on the definition of disguised unemployment. Similarly, we have curated a practice MCQ. Here, you have to consider the following statements regarding International Labour Organization. The first statement says ILO was formed after the formation of United Nations. The statement is incorrect, as United Nations came into existence in 1945 and ILO was formed in 1919 as part of Treaty of Versailles. Also, ILO became the first specialized agency of United Nations in 1946. The second statement says only the governments of the member states are party to ILO. The statement is incorrect, as ILO is the only tripartite United Nations agency that brings together governments, employers, and workers of the member states to set the labor standards. The third statement says India is a founding member of the ILO. The statement is correct. India is one of the founding members of ILO. India has ratified 6 out of 8 fundamental conventions of International Labour Organization. From the discussion above, statement 3 is the only correct statement, hence option B becomes our correct answer. Answer for this previous year question is option C.